Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I'm excited about this week's coaching video because today I'm going to be talking about 5 ways to cope with loneliness when you're between relationships. Let's just face it, for a small percentage, I'm going to say, of people, they get very lonely in between relationships. Then there are folks like myself that welcome that breather that you get, where you can kind of catch yourself, collect your thoughts, collect your feelings, focus on something else. Because let's just face it, y'all, we get in relationships, and honey, everything we do is about that relationship. And so when you're in between relationships, like I said, for me, it's a time for me to slow down, to focus on the things that I probably have been neglecting. So being alone is hard enough, but when you're between relationships, it can feel like torture. It can feel like forever. Yes, I've been down that road as well. So how does one cope when straddling the breakup gap between lost love and a new love? Well, let's jump right on in. Number 1, binge on movies. And I know this sounds like an unhealthy coping mechanism, but there was a time when movies were the only pastime. That's what you did. Let's just keep it real. When you were in between a breakup, what did you do? You went to Blockbuster, you got a ton of movies, got you some popcorn, some snacks, and you watched movies, or you went to the movies. That's how you passed your time, right? It's only in our modern culture that we shy away from this great distraction because of how y'all work with me on this, technologically addicted we are. Let's face it, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have Pinterest, we have Instagram, we have social media as a whole that takes our mind off stuff, and it keeps us busy. So we forget to do things like just watching movies or even reading. Look at this the same way you would if you were on vacation and wanting to check out of your life. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is good to just to check out of your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Go someplace where people don't know you, you don't know them, and just do stuff that makes you not think about your everyday life. Okay, you're actually on hiatus from love, so why not use that situation to your advantage and get in some good screen time? Number 2, purge something. Everyone has at least a couple of drawers or a closet to clean out. Getting rid of old stuff and relinquishing junk you've been stockpiling both fills your time and keeps you focused on something other than your loneliness. Taking action opens up pathways in the brain that inspire and motivate because we all want to feel productive. Sitting around feeds the loneliness monster because you're just waiting instead of doing. And that's like the worst thing that you can do. If you're in between relationships, don't sit around waiting for that next Mr. Right or that next Miss Right to show up. Honey, find something to do with your life. Be productive, and I promise you, it's going to take your mind off the weight. It's going to take your mind off that last relationship, and chances are, honey, you probably won't even really be thinking about the next relationship, and when it comes along, it'll be even that much more special. Number 3, start a project. By now, you're probably getting the theme of focusing on something and projects to keep you distracted while involving a feeling of creativity. Creativity is inspiring and healing. So pick something to work on that opens that part of your mind and, most importantly, opens up that part of your heart. Puzzles are great. Start a Pinterest board, plant a garden, build something if you're handy, but just start a project. It could be a project at your church. It could be a project at the elementary school that you attended in your youth. You know what I'm saying? But pick a project, start on it, because that project is what's going to keep your mind off of whatever it is that has you feeling some kind of way. In this case, it's being alone. Number 4, get moving. This is a general recommendation, the point of which is don't be still too long. You've got to stay moving. Let's just say if all you do is go to work and you come home, you shower, you get something to eat, and you sit in your room, you lay across your bed, sit in a chair, whatever it is you have in your room, and you think about that person that you were with. Specifically, you're focusing more on the good times. The bad times may pop up, but you're really focusing on the good times. All that's doing is keeping you weighted down. It's keeping you from being able to move on. So why torture yourself? Honey, that is over with. Let it go and move on. That feeling of restlessness you get when you start to feel empty or like something is missing is normal, and moving will release the tension. Dancing is an amazing release, and no one's and you dance like nobody's looking. Some of y'all don't have any coordination anyway, so if you're in your house and you're dancing, who's going to know but you? And it's going to free your mind of thinking about the stuff that's been weighing you down, right? Or getting in your car for a little road trip. That can transform loneliness into freedom. Again, action is powerful when it comes to moving through loneliness. It allows us to take control and move on faster instead of dwelling on the situation. Let me put a pin right there. One of the things that I've always done, excuse me, I had to move my light over. One of the things that I've always done in between relationships is, like I said, I'm never alone. Sometimes I may feel a little lonely, but I'm never alone. There's people always around me. Trust me when I tell you. But there's people always around me, so I never feel like I'm lonely. So when I'm going through a breakup, I very rarely have time to sit and think about that person or think about our past or what could have been, because I'm just always busy doing stuff. I have my writing, I have my YouTube channel, I have my audio files, I have workbooks that I'm writing, so I have too many things that are going on in my life that I don't have time to sit and think about other stuff. So loneliness is painful. We all know this. But it can be hugely informative as well. Let me put a pin right there, because you see, it's in that time of loneliness that you get to find you. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes when we get into relationships, we become what that person needs us to be. Yes? And so if that person needs you to be strong, you're strong for that person. If that person needs you to be domesticated, you become domesticated. If that person needs you to be whatever it is that they need you to be, you take on what that person needs at that particular moment. But I think it's in our times of loneliness that we get to rediscover us. I've shared this with you guys before, so I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but I was in a relationship for 9 years and it didn't work out. Very painful breakup when somebody tells you to your face that they found somebody that's better than you in every way possible. Very hurtful. And for a minute, I was lonely. I was down and I was out, and I went to revival one night. My pastor was preaching at another church, and I don't recall what he even preached, but I just recall the choir singing this song about crying no more tears. And our pastor talked about, let today be the last time that you cry over something or someone. And I said, Lord, I needed that word, and I didn't even want to go, but I didn't want my mom to have to go by herself. Not that she couldn't have, but I didn't want her, having to go by herself at night. So I went, and I was so blessed by going. But I said all that to say this, that during the time that I was in that 9-year relationship, I saw myself slipping away. The Michelle that I had been was gone by the end of that relationship. And I realized all of the things that I loved to do, I didn't do them anymore. The places that I loved to go, I didn't go there anymore. The friends I loved hanging out with, I didn't hang out with them anymore, because this person had monopolized my time so much. There's some things I was not going to give in on, and that's going to church and spending time with my immediate family, because you're not going to take that away from me. But I realized that I had lost myself. I wasn't doing the things that I loved doing. If I went to the gym, you best believe I was in and out within an hour, because then he would start calling me to death, or he would have a fit about that. I'm thinking, who rushes their workout? Honey, after we broke up, I was in the gym. Sometimes I'm in there 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Usually no more than 3 hours, maybe 3.5. But you see what I'm saying? You lose yourself sometimes when you're in a relationship. So when you get a chance to have that freedom, honey, you better find yourself. I know I did, and it was freeing for me. And I realized that's not what I want. And I just told myself from that day forward that I would never get into another relationship and lose myself like that. I can't even, to this day, I still can't believe that I actually did, but things happen, right? So I was saying that for a reason. Oh, I said because loneliness is painful, but it can be hugely informative as well. So that's what I learned about myself, is that when I was in that relationship, I lost myself. I stopped doing the things that I wanted to do the things that he wanted to do with his kids. Not anymore, y'all. You lose yourself, but when you go through that, you find out, you figure out, and you learn those things about you, and you can fix it. You'll never know yourself better than when you're forced to be with yourself on this level. Use the time wisely, because soon enough you'll be wishing you had that solitude back. Now I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie. And when I'm in between a breakup, I'm loving it because I can enjoy me again. And I also look forward to getting to a new relationship. But then once you get into that new relationship, you have to kind of give up some of that freedom that you had. So honey, enjoy it while you can. Number 5, go outside. A large part of loneliness is feeling like you're disconnected or you don't belong. There's something about the outdoors that makes it impossible to feel alone. You know, I always think of plant life as a community, if you will, okay? So even just sitting in the yard or going for a short walk, you can shift your mindset from loneliness to being a part of something greater. So when you go out and you see these beautiful flowers and these big beautiful trees, you are part of something greater. And it's hard for you to feel alone when you're doing that. Going on a hike or visiting a body of water works wonders. But if it's not possible, okay, simply being in fresh air will do the trick. So you guys, the point that I'm trying to make here is I want you to find ways to deal with loneliness when you're in between relationships. Because I've known people that kind of get a little down. I mean, they just get down in a funk, and it's hard to get them out of it. But like I said, when you've been in a relationship, and you don't even have to have been in that relationship for a long period of time. I was in a relationship just a couple of months shy of a year, and that relationship just didn't work out. And I just, the amount of loss and loneliness that I felt was just overwhelming. And like I said, it wasn't even a full year, but I also learned something during that time. And I learned that that particular individual was trying to make me be something that I really wasn't. And I was willing to become that person because I really cared about him, which I realized was just I really cared about his daughter, and I loved spending time with her. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? I was at the point where if I did not kind of put my foot down in a subtle way, of course, that I would end up becoming something or someone that I did not want to be, all in the name of making this person happy, because I actually did enjoy spending time with him. So let me do a quick recap, you guys, and I promise I'm gonna let you be. Today I talked about 5 ways to cope with loneliness when you're in between relationships. Again, it's so important that when you're in between those relationships that you have got to find you, because somewhere along the way you've lost yourself. So get to know you again. You know what I'm saying? Stop worrying about that next relationship, honey. When the time comes, it'll come, but you've got to find you. So number 1, we talked about binging on movies. Great way to fill up that free time. You know, if you have Netflix, go through there, find some great movies to watch. And or go to the movies. If you have DVDs at your house and you have a DVD player, Blu-ray, whatever it is that you have, just binge on movies. And make sure they're not sad movies. Y'all forgot to mention that. Make sure it's not sad stuff that'll have you crying and reminiscing about your past. Find something that's funny, something that's upbeat. It can be a cartoon if you want to. It doesn't matter. As long as it just takes your mind off of your own loneliness. Number 2, purge something. Go through your house and find stuff that you can get rid of, especially if that something includes the person from your previous relationship. Get rid of it, okay? And if you don't want to throw it out, because I do understand sometimes you're not quite ready to do that, put it away somewhere, bottom drawer, in the basement, in the attic, wherever, but purge it. Number 3, start a project. This can be a writing project. Maybe you want to sit down and write a book. Let me say this real quick and I'm going to move on because I forgot to share this. When I broke up with my 9-year relationship, I ended up writing an amazing story, loosely based on that relationship. And I thought, wow. And I did it all in 30 days, y'all. 30 days I wrote that book. But like I said, it was loosely based on my relationship at that time. And what I loved about it is writing that book allowed me to just clear my mind and move on because it was kind of emotional sometimes writing it, but then other times, like I said, at the end of the day, it was freeing for me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Number 4, that was start the project. Number 4, get moving. Get up, get moving. Do not allow yourself to just sit in the house wearing the same old funky pajamas for weeks and weeks at a time and not cleaning up, not bathing. Get out, get moving. Honey, get out, go for a walk. You know, if you've never joined a gym and you know you need to, go join a gym. Gold's Gym basic membership $9.99. Planet Fitness basic membership $9.99. Go join a gym. If you don't want to join a gym, find a walking path and go walking. You know, find a bike path. If you have a bike, get out there and ride your bike, but just get up and get moving. And number 5, last but not least, go outside. Go outside and get you some fresh air. When you're in the house and you're in there by yourself, sometimes you do become lonely and you do feel like, wow, you know what? The world outside of this house is moving without me. So get out, get you some fresh air. Stop sitting up in the house reminiscing about the past. Get out there, because you never know who you just might meet when you get out there. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you so much to those that continue to support me in all that I do. I love you guys to the moon and back. There's nothing you can do about it. Again, I want you to get out there and stop feeling like there is nobody there for you. Stop feeling like you're in this by yourself. You're not. You're not the first person going through a breakup, honey, and I promise you won't be the last. This won't be your last breakup. Well, let me say this. Let me not say that. I'm praying that it is your last breakup and that you will find that special person to make it a lifetime thing. But if not, just know that this may not be your last breakup. Each breakup should build, or you learn something, so it builds on the next relationship that you get into until you finally meet the one that God has for you. That's all I have for you guys. Again, thank you so very much. Don't forget, we are praying big. We are in a season of praying big for whatever it is that you need. If it's a relationship you're looking for, pray big. Be specific. Okay, Lord, send me on a man that's about 6'5", you know, muscles everywhere, broad shoulders, a cute smile, dimples, whatever it is that you're looking for. Big butt, ashy butt, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're looking for, be specific during this time of praying big. Again, that's all I have. I love you so much, and we'll talk again soon.